Dear brothers and sisters in the Lord, join us as we embark on a quest to understand an end-time mystery that has captivated the hearts and minds of believers throughout the ages. Among the sacred texts, Bible scholars and Christian saints have discovered eerie and mysterious truths hidden within Revelation chapter 9. In the wake of this revelation, we will shed light on the enigmatic passages and discern their implications for our faith and the world we live in. What are these scary things hidden in the book of Revelation chapter 9? And what does it mean for Christians around the world? Join us as we explore the scariest chapter in the Bible, Revelation 9, and the instructions that follow. Have you ever read a passage in the Bible that compelled you to pause and contemplate its undeniable truth? In the book of Revelation chapter 9, Apostle John shares the most scary apocalyptic revelation. This revelation gives us a glimpse into the future of the unrepentant through the 7 trumpet judgments as depicted in the book of Revelation. These terrifying events will gradually unfold immediately after the rapture of the church, and this time will be known as the Great Tribulation. But to clearly understand the message in Revelation 9, let's take a step back to chapter 8, where the first judgment is revealed. The first trumpet in the book of Revelation 8:7 is followed by terrifying events. When it is sounded, something terrible happens. Hail and fire mixed with blood are thrown down to the earth. This is not an ordinary hailstorm, but a destructive and deadly one. When this mixture falls from the sky, it brings about great destruction. It destroys the vegetation and trees on the earth, but the destructive power of hail, fire, and blood is only a wake-up call to pay attention to the worst things to come. But then you might ask yourself, is God capable of such anger? The answer is yes. This will not be the first time God declared such destructive judgment on humans. There are instances in the Bible where hail, fire, and even blood were rained upon the earth. One such example is found in the book of Exodus in the Old Testament. During the time of Moses, when the Israelites were enslaved in Egypt, God sent a series of plagues to convince Pharaoh to release them. One of these plagues was the 7th plague, which involved hail and fire. The Bible describes how hail, mixed with fire, fell from the sky and struck the land of Egypt, destroying crops, trees, and livestock. It was a devastating event that caused great destruction. As for blood, in the book of Exodus, the first plague that God sent upon Egypt was turning the Nile River and all its water sources into blood. The water in the river and vessels throughout the land turned into blood, making it undrinkable and causing death to the fish in the river. These events serve as examples of divine judgment and the power of God displayed through natural occurrences. O gracious Lord, we humbly come before you, recognizing our shortcomings and the need to amend our ways. Please guide us and help us turn away from sinful paths, that we may find favor in your eyes. Grant us the wisdom and strength to live according to your divine will, so that we may avoid your wrath on the last day. In your mercy, hear our prayer and lead us on the path of righteousness. The second trumpet explained in Revelation 8 brings even more terror and destruction. Picture this. A massive burning mountain is cast into the sea. When it crashes, something terrible happens. A third of the sea turns into blood, like a gruesome scene from a horror movie. The once lively and blue waters become a horrifying red pool of death. But that's not all. A third of the sea creatures die in an instant. Imagine the sight of countless fish, dolphins, and other marine creatures floating lifelessly in the bloody sea. It's a devastating sight, but the destruction doesn't stop there. Ships that once sailed on the calm waters are not spared. The impact of the burning mountain causes a third of the ships to be destroyed. Picture mighty vessels engulfed in flames, sinking into the bloody depths of the sea. The second trumpet is a horrifying event that brings death and destruction to the sea. The third trumpet is a terrifying event described in the book of Revelation 8:10-11. When it sounds, a huge star called wormwood comes crashing down from the sky. As wormwood hits the ground, a horrifying thing happens. It pollutes a third of the rivers and springs with its poisonous substance. The water becomes bitter and undrinkable, causing great suffering and death for many people. Imagine the fear and panic that would emerge if a third of the world's water sources suddenly turned deadly. People would be desperate for clean water to quench their thirst, and this would eventually lead to widespread chaos and devastation. But that's not all. In the midst of all this chaos, the fourth trumpet will sound. This judgment causes a great disturbance in the heavenly bodies. A third of the sun, moon, and stars are struck, leading to a significant decrease in their brightness. Imagine the sun, the moon, and the stars suddenly losing their radiance. It would be a shocking sight in the sky above us. The once vibrant and powerful sun would become dimmer, casting less light upon the earth. The moon, which illuminates our nights, would also lose its brightness, hence giving more room for darkness. And even the stars, those tiny specks of light that twinkle in the night sky, would also be affected. Their brilliance would fade, causing a significant reduction in the beauty and splendor of the nighttime heavens. At this point, the world has experienced a series of terrifying events depicted in the Book of Revelation. These include occurrences such as hail and fire mingled with blood, a third of the sea transforming into blood and killing all sea creatures, and the contamination of various sources of water, rendering them bitter and unsuitable for consumption due to the influence of the wormwood star. And in addition to these calamities, darkness covers the earth. While the first 4 judgments may instill fear in people, they are merely an introduction to the final 3 judgments described in Revelation chapter 9. Why is Revelation chapter 9 the scariest book in the Bible? What revelation did St. John the Apostle receive? In Revelation chapter 9, the final 3 trumpet judgments are often known as the 3 woes. These woes represent the most terrifying experiences mankind will ever encounter, signaling a time of great distress and tribulation. In Revelation chapter 9, St. John hears the blaring of the 5th trumpet. As the 5th trumpet resounds, a star plunges down from the heavens to the earth, shattering the tranquility of the world. A bottomless pit cracks open, unleashing an unimaginable horror upon mankind. A thick, suffocating smoke billows forth from the pit, engulfing the sky and blotting out the sun. Total darkness descends, casting a thick, dark veil over the earth. But even with all this, the worst is yet to come. From within the suffocating smoke and thick darkness, creatures resembling locusts emerge, their hideous forms striking fear into the hearts of all who sees them. These vile beings are not just ordinary insects, but demons from the depths of hell, sent to inflict torment upon the unsealed. Their buzzing wings reverberate through the air, their terrifying cries piercing through the terror that fills the atmosphere. They descend upon humanity with relentless fury, their gnashing teeth and venomous stings causing unimaginable pain and suffering. The unsealed, those who lack the divine protection of God, are left defenseless, their cries of anguish drowned out by the cacophony of torment. Now all of this doesn't happen in just one day or a week. Rather, the agony stretches on for an excruciating period of 5 long months, an eternity of ceaseless torment. And in all this horror, the world becomes a living nightmare. The 6th trumpet is blown, and fear grips the hearts of all who witness its terrifying events. 4 mighty angels, long held captive at the Euphrates River, are set free to unleash their devastating power upon the world. These angels are fallen angels that were disarmed and held imprisoned deep in the Euphrates River. But the 6th trumpet shall set them free, and they shall emerge in all their rage alongside legions of demons. In the revelation of St. John the Apostle, a terrifying command is issued, and an army of 200 million demons is summoned to wreak havoc and destruction. As the earth trembles in fear, a horrifying sight fills the skies. Fire, smoke, and sulfur pour forth from the mouths of the horses ridden by these merciless demons. The air becomes thick with the stench of death and despair as the flames consume everything in their path. Cities crumble under the weight of destruction, reduced to mere ashes. The screams of the innocent echo through the desolate streets. The magnitude of the devastation is unfathomable. Families are torn apart, lives are cut short, and the world is plunged into an abyss of horror. The survivors are left trembling, their souls haunted by the nightmarish scenes of death and destruction they have witnessed. Lastly, the 7th trumpet, a harbinger of terror, unleashes its wrath upon the world. Imagine this, voices resounding with authority from the heavens, proclaiming the reign of God and announcing the resurrection of the dead. Their words echo through the earth, instilling a profound sense of fear and trembling. As the heavens declare their message, nature itself is shaken to its core. Lightning flashes across the darkened sky, illuminating the horrifying scene, while thunder reverberates with a deafening roar that rattles the very bones of humanity, drowning out any cries for mercy. The deafening sound echoes through every corner of the land, leaving you trembling with fear. And then, an earthquake strikes. The ground shakes violently, and buildings crumble. Yet even amidst this catastrophic uproar, there is no end. As if all this devastation wasn't enough, hail descends from above, not mere droplets, but massive stones of ice. They descend with relentless force, battering and shattering all that stands in their path. No refuge can shield one from their unyielding wrath. Amid these terrifying events, one realizes that these events bear great significance. They mark the arrival of God's kingdom. the resurrection of the righteous, and the bestowal of their long-awaited reward. A chilling realization settles upon the hearts of those who remain. The end is near, and darkness looms on the horizon. What does this mean for Christians? Why did God reveal all these to Apostle John? Some Christian saints and theologians have also interpreted the judgments in Revelation chapter 9 as a warning, a consequence of living a life separated from God. It serves as a reminder that the choices we make can have far-reaching and devastating effects, not only for ourselves but for the world around us. These warnings hold significant implications not only for Christians but for the world at large. Within this chapter, God Almighty has given His children several underlying messages that offer guidance, encouragement, and admonition. First, Revelation 9 highlights the hope that Christians should embrace the return of Christ. The chapter describes the release of demonic forces that bring about unprecedented destruction and suffering. However, amidst this turmoil, believers are reminded that their ultimate hope rests in the victorious return of Jesus Christ. The chapter serves as a sobering reminder that the present world is marred by evil and tribulation, but assures believers that the final victory belongs to Christ. The chapter also points to the importance of proclaiming the gospel and extending God's offer of forgiveness and redemption before it is too late. But more importantly, Revelation 9 emphasizes the necessity of perseverance through tribulation. The vivid descriptions of the torment caused by demonic forces illustrate the reality of spiritual warfare and the trials that believers may face. Christians are encouraged to remain steadfast in their faith, trusting in God's faithfulness and provision, even amid adversity. The chapter serves as a reminder that endurance and perseverance are essential qualities for believers in navigating the challenges of life. Lastly, Revelation 9 invites Christians in the world at large to trust in God's sovereignty. The judgments unleashed in this chapter are part of God's divine plan and purpose. While they may be unsettling and challenging to comprehend, they ultimately serve as a reminder that God is in control. The chapter calls on believers to trust in God's sovereignty, even when faced with uncertainty and tribulation. It encourages them to find solace in the fact that God's purposes will ultimately be fulfilled and His justice will prevail. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content. While you're still here, click on the other videos you see on your screen right now to further strengthen your faith.